Hi guys, welcome to another Functional Skills Maths Level 1 video, and in this one we're going to go through fractions, and I think a lot of you did want me to go through fractions. I did a poll recently in YouTube and most of you did vote for that one, so I thought why not, let's do a video on fractions. So hopefully by the end of the lesson you'll be able to recognize equivalent fractions, reduce fractions to their simplest forms, find fractions of quantities, building confidence with and without the calculator. As always, you can find these notes in the link below in the description, and if you're part of my class, you should find these notes in Google Classroom. And those of you who are in my class, you might notice that it's slightly different to the ones that we did in class. I wasn't really happy with the lesson, how it went, so I've changed them a little bit at the beginning, so you might find it's a little bit different. So let's understand what fractions are. So hopefully you should know that fractions are parts of something. The numerator is the top number in the fraction. This number tells us how many equal parts of the whole we have, and the denominator is the bottom number in a fraction. This number tells us how many equal parts the whole has been divided into. So for example, if you have one part out of 4 equal parts, we call this, obviously we say it's a quarter. And some of the examples, if you have 6 equal parts and one of those parts is shaded, let's say, that means you've got 1 out of 6, or a sixth. And you've got 4 equal parts in this example here. One of them is shaded, so that's 1/4. Yeah, and you might notice that the larger the denominator, the smaller each individual part. So that's another good way of figuring out which fraction is smaller than the other. So you might think, because it's a 6 at the bottom, you might think that's bigger. It's going to be the opposite of what you think, really. So, you know, 1/6 is technically smaller than 1/4. Let's move on to the next section. So still to do with understanding fractions, so it's just basic information, you know, that you should hopefully already know. So this is about equivalent fractions. Fractions that have the same value or represent the same part of an object are equivalent fractions. They are worth the same. You can make equivalent fractions by multiplying or dividing the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So for example, here we have 6 out of 12. So you've got 12 sections in total. 6 of these are shaded in. So 6/12 of the bar of chocolate is shaded. And in this example, below, we've got half the bar of chocolate which is shaded. But you can see that it's the same for both of these. So 6/12 is the same as a half. You can see the same amount is shaded in both. So in these two fractions, the numbers are different, yet the same portion has been shaded. Therefore, 6 out of 12 is the same as a half. They are equivalent fractions. So, you know, sometimes you might have seen fractions where you're simplifying. You know, 6/12 does simplify to a half. Going the other way, you know, if you're going from a half, the half is the same as 6/12, or you can say the half is equivalent to 6 out of 12, or 6 out of 12 is equivalent to a half. So they're both equivalent to each other. Equivalent just means that they're the same. They both equal the same thing. You can produce equivalent fractions by multiplying both the top and bottom of the fraction by the same number. Yeah, notice if you have a half and you multiply the numerator by 3 and the denominator by 3, you'll get 3 out of 6, which is the same as a half. Same for 3/4. So if you have 3/4 multiplied by 3, both top and bottom, you'll get 9/12, which is equivalent to 3/4. 2/8 is the same as 4/16, and 3/4 is the same as 15/20. Okay, so sometimes you'll be multiplying, sometimes you'll be dividing, you know, going the other way if you're simplifying fractions. So let's have a go of simplifying. So I've got this fraction here, 12 out of 16. Okay, so you look at both the numerator and the denominator, and you think of a number that goes into both of them at the same time. So me personally, you know, you could do 2. Yep, so if you divide both top and bottom by 2, you're going to get 6 at the top and 8 at the bottom. Okay, and always recheck, can you simplify this even more? What else goes into 6 and 8? Well, I can do 2 again. That's going to give me 3 at the top, 4 at the bottom. And there's no other number that goes into these apart from 1. So you're done. You can't simplify that anymore. Yeah, you could have done it in one go. So this is one way of doing it. If you recognize a bigger number that goes into both of them to begin with, then it's much quicker. So if you recognize that in fact 4 goes into both of these, and you get 3/4, which is your final answer. So it's a lot quicker. You know, if you try and find technically the highest common factor in both the numerator and the denominator, the bigger the better, really, you know, for the number that you're dividing by. Yeah, and it has to be the same number, by the way. Yeah, you can't be dividing by 2 at the top and then divide by 4 at the bottom. It's not going to work. So try the next ones yourself. Pause the video, and when you're ready, just unpause it and we'll go through the answers. Let's go through the answers then, guys. So 1A, write the following fractions in their lowest terms. So I'm going to divide that by 6, divide that by 6 as well, and I get 1/2, or a half. You know, you could have done it in stages as well, but don't forget your final answer should be a half. Let's move down to part B. I know that 15 goes into that. 15 goes into that as well. That's going to give me 1/5. Yeah, and if you're not sure, if you're not sure that 15 goes into both of these, you could have done 5 and then keep going until you get your simplified answer. Part C, I recognize that both of these are in the 7 times table, so let's use 7. I get 3 for my numerator, 5 for my denominator, so that's my answer for that one. Yeah, can't simplify anymore. D, I'm going to use 20. That's a good one. So I'll get 2 at the top, 5 at the bottom. Yep, 2/5 should be your final answer. Again, you could have done it in stages if you're not sure. Part E, I'm going to use, let's do 12. I know that 12 goes into both of these. Should get 2/5. Part F, let's use 3. Maybe I could have done a bigger number than that, but let's just go with this. Let's go with 3. So I'll get 6 at the top and 9 at the bottom, and I can simplify again with 3 again. I realized I should have maybe used 9 instead. Doesn't matter. Let's do it this way. I'll get 2 at the top and 3 at the bottom, so I've got 2/3. Yeah, I could have done 9 straight away. Let's do part G. Ooh, slightly different for part G. This is an improper fraction, so it's top heavy. It's heavier on the top than the bottom. No problem. You know, let's just do the same again. Let's divide by 12. I'll get 3 at the top, 1 at the bottom. I can't leave my answer like this. You know, if you know any whole number is always over 1. So technically this is 3. Yeah, you can't leave it in a fraction, I'm afraid. You know, you have to write it as a whole number. Part H, I'm going to use, let's use 8 first, because I'm not too sure if there's a bigger one. Oh yeah, there will be, definitely. Let's do 2. That's going to give me 4/5. So maybe I could have done 16. So yeah, maybe I should have done 16, but it's not a problem. You know, if you do it stages in like this, you still get your final answer 4/5. Then it says, question 2, 80 out of every 100 families in the UK own more than one television. What fraction is this? Okay, well that's 80 out of 100. Let's simplify that. So, you know, it doesn't say in the question simplify, but if you did, in answers, fractions should be simplified or written in the lowest term. Yeah, you don't have to be honest. You know, it's not essential. I think it's, in the exam, you can leave your answer like this. If it doesn't say simplify, then you don't have to. Obviously, if it does say simplify, or if it says give your answer in its lowest terms like this for number 1, then obviously you do have to simplify. But in this case, you can leave it like that, or if you did simplify, what would it be? If you did, let's divide by 20, you'll get 4/5 as your answer. Yeah. Question 3, 6 out of 10 cats prefer Kit Kat food. What fraction prefer Kit Kat food? So that's 6 out of 10. Again, you can leave your answer like that, but if you simplified it, let's divide both of these by 2. We get 3/5. And what fraction do not prefer Kit Kat food? Well, if 3/5 prefer Kit Kat food, then let's take away that from 1. Well, it's going to be the rest, isn't it? That's going to be 2/5. Or 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 initially, which simplifies to 2/5. Yeah. So either 4/10 as your answer or 2/5 if you simplified it. And if you're not sure where that came from, you know, if you had, for example, let me separate this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5. Technically, they're supposed to be equal sections. This one, and this one is to do with cats who like Kit Kat food. So that's, let's call that like, and these don't like. Yeah. So yeah, just visually, if you're not sure where that 2/5 came from, 3/5 liked the Kit Kat food, so 3 out of 5, and 2 out of 5, these 2 cats did not like Kit Kat food. Yeah. Let's move on. Practice question 2. Find the missing numbers. So these are to do with equivalent fractions. So we're going from 1/3 to 2 over something. So we are multiplying by 2, going this way. Yeah, let's do the same. Here, that gives me 6. So 1/3 is the same as 2/6. We're going this way. So I'm dividing by 4. So let's do the same for the numerator, and that gives me 1/3. Yeah. I'm going from 4 to 8 times by 2. So I have to do the same for the numerator. 2/8 for that one. I'm going from 6 to 12, so I'm multiplying by 2. Let's do the same for the top. That's 2/12. And for this one, I'm going from 2 to 1. I'm going this way, so I'm dividing by 2. So I'm doing the same for the denominator, which is 5. For this one, I'm going this way, which is times by 3. So let's do the same here. 24. Yep, so this is a combination of, sometimes we're simplifying, sometimes we're doing equivalent fractions. So yeah, it's good practice, you know. Yep, hopefully you guys got the same. Let's move on to the next section, writing one quantity as a fraction of another. So these are a little bit unusual, just be careful how the way it's been worded. So example 1 says, what is 5 out of 20 as a fraction? Okay, this is not too bad. 5 out of 20 as a fraction, that literally means 5 over 20. Yeah, it's out of 20. So your total is out of 20. And you got 5. Let's simplify it. I know it doesn't say simplify, but let's do that anyway. So I'm going to divide by 5. I get a quarter. Yep. Finding a fraction of a quantity. So find a half of £16. And the clue here is to divide by the denominator. So you divide by 2 in this case. So for part A, you literally do 16 divided by 2, which is £8. Yeah, and don't forget the pound sign because it's to do with money. Part B, again, divided by the denominator in this case, which is the 3. So 18 centimeters divided by 3 gives me 6 centimeters. Yep, don't forget the centimeters. Yep, you need to put the correct units as well. And in example 3, these are a little bit more trickier, but if you stick with this rule, you divide by the denominator and multiply by the numerator. So you divide by the 3 in this case, times by 2. Yeah, I usually do it in that order. Some people do it the other way. It's absolutely fine. You can do it that way, but I wouldn't recommend it. Me personally, I always do the division first and then the multiplication, because if I divide, I'm left with smaller numbers to deal with, which are easier. So let me show you. So if I do £36 divided by 3, that gives me £12. And then I have to times by 2, because at the moment I've only worked out 1/3 here, but I want 2/3. So I'll have to do 2 times the £12 that I got here, which gives me £24 as my answer. Yep. If I started doing 2 times 36, that's going to give me 72, and then divide by 3. Yeah, probably would get my answer eventually, but it's a little bit more trickier. See how I did this in my head very easily with division first and then multiplication. It just makes your life a lot easier as well, hopefully. Let's do this one. Let's do the division first and then multiplication. So we'll do £12 divided by 4. Well, that's £3. That's only a quarter. So we've only worked out a quarter so far. So I want 3/4. So 3 times that, which is £9. Yep, and there's my answer. So if you want to practice some of those type of questions, have a go of the next section. So pause the video, and when you're ready, just unpause it. Let's go through the answers then. So number 1, in a class of 30 students, 21 are girls. What fraction of the class are girls? So I've got 21 out of 30. Yep, and if you simplified it, let's do that. So either this or this, whichever, makes no difference. Both answers are perfectly fine. In a car park of 120 cars, 45 are made in Europe and the rest are made in Japan. What fraction of the cars are made in Japan? So first I'm going to have to do 120 take away 45, because this will give me how many cars there are in Japan, that are made in Japan, sorry. I'm going to have to borrow again. So that is 75 cars in Japan. So that's 75 out of 120, which is the total. And then if you simplified it, let's simplify it as well, just in case if you did. You could have left your answer like this, But if you did simplify it, you should get, what shall I use? I'm going to use, let's do 5 to begin with. That gives me 15 for the top and 24 for the bottom. Yeah, and I could do I can simplify even more with 3. So I get 5 at the top, 8 at the bottom. Yep, it should be 5/8. I could have divided by 15 to begin with. I just realised now. Yeah, but yeah, if you get 75 over 120 or 5/8 as your answer, that's perfectly fine. Next one, express 54 millimeters as a fraction of 20 centimeters in its simplest form. Yeah, just be careful with this one. I can't do 54 over 20 because they're not the same units. This is in millimeters, this is in centimeters. So let's change. Here we see as well that they've given you a bit of a hint here. They won't give you a hint like this in the exam, you know, so we definitely need to know this. Let's do that here. I don't have much space, so 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. I'm trying to change 20 centimeters. Yeah, so we're going this way. Yeah, I'm going from a small number to big. Definitely multiply, and it's multiplying by 10. So 20 centimeters is the same as 200 millimeters. Now I can do my fraction, 54 over 200. Oh, we have to simplify it definitely because it says. Let's halve it first because I'm not too sure myself. 27 for the top, 100 for the bottom. I think that's it. I can't simplify any more. There's no other number that goes into both of these apart from 1, obviously. But 3, I can't do 3 because 3 doesn't go into 100. Can't do 9 because it doesn't go into 100. So this is my final answer. I can't simplify any more. And that's it. Yep, hopefully you guys got the same. You could have changed them both to centimeters, by the way, as well, you know, and might have been a bit weird. You might have got a decimal for this bit here. You would have got 5.4 centimeters over 20. Bit strange, but yeah, you could still do it that way, and you would still get the same answer. I don't like dealing with decimals though in fractions at the same time, so that's why I changed the centimeters to millimeters, because I knew I was going to get a whole number for that one. But yeah, completely your choice how you do it. Number 4, sales at a clothes shop in January totaled £2,250. In February, the sales totaled £750. By what fraction did the sales decrease in February? Right, so well, the decrease is it's gone from this to this in 1 month. So what's the difference? Let's do that on the side. 2250 take away 750. That gives me 1,500. Okay, so it's gone down by £1,500. So what's my fraction? So it's 1,500 over the original, which was 2250. Yeah, so originally it was 2,250 in January. So that's what you do it out of. You can leave it like this, or you can simplify it. And if you did simplify it, let's do that. So that's the same as 150, 225. All I did was divided by 10. And let's do 25. Yeah, I definitely know I can do 25 actually for both top and bottom. So it's going to be 7 for the top, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in 100. Yeah, it's going to be 6 for the top. 4 plus 4 is 8. Plus another one is 9. Ooh, okay. So I'll get 6 over 9 if I divide by 25. I was going up in my 25 times table, sorry. So I get 6 over 9. And then I can simplify even more, because 3 goes into both of these. I get 2/3 as my answer. Wow. What's the big number that goes into both of these? Technically, 750 is the big one that goes into both of these, apparently. Yep. So you could have done it in one go if you knew that 750 goes into both these numbers. I certainly didn't know that, you know. Just so you can do it in stages like this. It's not a problem. Question 5. In a survey, 120 students were asked how long they spent using a computer in 1 week. The results are shown below. Okay, so we've got number of hours, and we've got number of students. What fraction of the students spent 10 or fewer hours using a computer in 1 week? So it has to be 10 or less. Well, it's definitely these guys, which they used between 6 to 10, and also these guys as well, because they're less than 10, aren't they? Yes, so these 22 students, definitely they're less than 10, because they only spent between 0 and 5 hours. So because it says 10 or fewer hours, we have to include both of these groups of students, which is, let's add these two together. How much is that? That is 79. So 79 students in total spent 10 hours or less over, what was the total? 120 they said. And I can't simplify that, can I? That's it. That's your final answer. Yeah, so just be careful. Don't think it's just the 57. They're trying to catch people out, aren't they? So definitely you have to include both these groups, because it's 10 or less who use the computer. Okay, let's move on. Oh, have a go with these as well, please. Practice question 4. It's good practice. So it's to do with fractions of amounts and working them out. Ideally, you need to be able to do these without your calculator. So, you know, you'll get examples like these in the exam, to be honest, in the non-calculator section. So definitely try these without your calculator. Pause the video, and when you're ready, just unpause it. Okay, let's go for the answers. So 6 out of 20 looks like that. If you simplified it, hopefully you got, if you halve both of these, you'll get 3/10. Yep, so either this or this, whichever. Doesn't say simplify, but if you did, that's fine. Next one. 14 out of 21. Again, you can leave like that. Or if you divided them both by 7, you should get 2/3 as your answer. 24 out of 36 is the same as, well, 12 goes into both of these, 2/3, and 25 out of 35, 5 goes into both of these, 5/7. It's your simplified answer. Yep, hopefully you got those. Number 2 says, in a safety test, car scored 35 points out of a possible 40. Write this fraction in its simplest form, so we have to simplify it. 35 out of 40. Let's divide by 5. Get 7 at the top, 8 for my denominator. Find the following fractions. Half of 36 kg, well that's 18 kg. Quarter of 32, that's 8 pounds. Yeah, don't forget the units as well, please, guys. Third of 27 centimeters, that's 9 centimeters. A fifth of 30 pounds, that's 6 pounds. A sixth of 24 meters, that's going to be 4 meters. A tenth of 80 pounds. How many tens go into 80? That's going to be 8. An eighth of 16 grams. How many 8s go into 16? That's 2. And 28 divided by 4 is 7. That's going to be pence. Question 4. Train ticket normally costs £54. Matt pays for the ticket using his student rail card and is given 1/3 off the price. How much is the discount? Right, so the rail card gives him 1/3 off, so 1/3, let's do 1/3 of £54 first, which is the same as 54 divided by 3. Well, that is, let's do that on the side if you're not sure. So let's do the bus stop method. 3 into 5 goes once, remainder 2. 3 into 24 is 8. So that's going to be £18. Is that my final answer? Yes, it is, because what does this actually represent? The £18, that's your discount. Yeah, which is what it's asking for. How much is the discount? So just be careful, you know, don't go beyond this point, because, you know, don't start taking it away from the £54 and start working out the price of the ticket, because it's not asking for that. You know, all they're just asking is how much is the discount. £18 is your discount, so that's your answer. Yeah, so just be careful, always recheck what is it asking. Number 5. Trainee IT worker spends 1/10 of her earnings on leisure activities. If she earns £1,500 a month, how much does she spend on leisure activities each month? So I need to work out, what is it? 1/10 of 1,500. Well, it's just divided by 10, isn't it? Which is £150. Yep, there's my answer. Number 6. 1/7 of a concrete mix is made of cement. How much cement is needed to make 56 kg of concrete? So I need 1/7 of 56 kg, which is the same as saying 56 divided by 7, which is 8. And that's going to be in kilograms. Yep. Number 7, part A, find 3/4 of 16. So again, let's try and do these in one go. I'm going to do it in my head. I'm going to divide by the denominator and multiply by 3. Yep. So how many 4s go into 16? That's 4 times by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Again, how many 3s go into 48? That is, let's double check. That's going to be 16. 16 times by 2 is 32. Yep, so if you're not sure, just do it on the side. I did know what it was actually, but I'm just showing you guys that it's not going to take you a massive amount of time to do it on the side. How many 5s go into 45? 9 times by 2 is 18. And how many 10s go into 60? That's 6 times by 3, 18. How many 8's gone to 48? That is 6. Times 3 is £18. Yep, don't forget the pounds in this case because this is in pounds. 4/5 of 45 centimeters, so let's divide by 5 first. That's going to give me 9 times by 4. 9 fours are 36, and that's in centimeters. Yep, hopefully you guys got the same. Question 8. One Saturday, 300 people go to the local cinema. 2/5 of them pay the discount rate. How many people pay the discount rate? So I need 2/5 of 300. So I need to divide by 5, multiply by 2. How many 5s go into this is 60. Yeah, if you're not sure, just do it on the side. So 1/5 would be 60. If you double 60, you get 120, and that's going to be people. Yeah, because it's asking how many people. Number 9, of 180 employees at a factory, 3/4 are female. How many employees are female? So 3/4 of 180. Right. Let me do that on the side. So I'll do the division first. So let's do 180 divided by 4. That's going to be 45, right? And then 45 times by 3. That's going to give me 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 1 is 13. Ooh, 135 employees. Yep. And then how many employees are male? Well, if you know 135 employees are female, the rest must be male. So that's 180 take away 135. Yeah, this is one way of doing it. You could probably do it differently. And 7 take away 3 is 4, so it's going to be 45 employees. Yep. You could have worked out 1/4 of 180. You would have got the same answer, which in fact is this bit here, isn't it? Yes, that's working out 1/4 of 180. So yeah, as you can see, 1/4 of 180 is 45. Let's move on to the last section. Oh, these are all the exam style questions. So these are taken from loads of practice papers, and they're all to do with fractions. So maybe pause the video, and when you're ready, just unpause it. Okay, let's go through these answers. So question 1, this is on the non-calculator paper, by the way, so we can't use our calculator. Hillside players sell 1,160 tickets in total for all the shows. Okay, so they're saying that the adults £6 for a ticket, children half price. So straight away, that's going to be £3. Let's put that in. We're also told that 290 are adult tickets, the rest are children's tickets. How much money do they make from selling the 1,160 tickets? Wow, look how many marks this is, 6 marks. Use the box below to show clearly how you get your answer. Yeah, they give you quite a lot of space. Let me just go back to the top. Right, okay, so first of all, there's only adult tickets and children's tickets that are sold. That's what they're saying. Yeah, so we can very easily work out how much we get from adult tickets. The rest, we'll deal with that later. Yeah, the rest are children's tickets. Let's do adult tickets first. So adult tickets, let's make a heading. I've got 290 adult tickets. How much were they? £6 each. So it's 290 times by 6. Let's do that first. So I've got 0. 9 6s are 54. Carry the 5. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus the 5 is 17. So for adult tickets, it's going to cost that much. 1,740. Oh, that's how much they made from selling the adult tickets. Okay. Children's tickets. Let's do that next. Well, we don't know how many they sold, but they did say the rest of the tickets. The rest are children's tickets. Okay, so well, they did say it's out of 1,160. So let's do 1,160 take away 290. Let's do that. Yeah, which will tell us the rest. I'm gonna have to borrow here. Borrow again. So we've got this many tickets. Each one was £3, half price. So that's going to be 8 times 3 is 24, plus 2 is 26. So £2,610 for the children's tickets. So the total, 2610 plus 1740. Let's add these together. That gives me 13, carry the 1. That's going to give me 4. So it's going to be £4,350. Question 2, another non-calculator one. Bethany needs to travel to Tom's house by train. Price of a ticket is £103.80. Bethany has a rail card. She uses the rail card to get a third off the price of her ticket. How much is a third of £103.80? Show a check of your working. 3 marks for this. So, right. So I definitely need to do 103.80 divided by 3. Yeah, because it's the you're dividing by the denominator. So 3 into 1 doesn't go. 3 into 10 goes 3. Remainder 1. 3 into 13 is 4. Remainder 1. 3 into 18, 6, and got 0 on the end. So that's £34.60. So let's just double check what it's asking for. How much is a third of £103.80? So yeah, just be careful. Again, it's not, it's not asking what is a third off. It did say a third off here, but it's not asking for that, is it? It's asking what the discount is. So it's just asking how much is a third of the amount. So you just do a third of the amount, and that's it. So your answer is £34.60. Yeah, we've only got 2 marks so far. The third mark is for this bit where it says show a check of your working. For that, you have to work backwards. So it's a bit weird, but you just have to do a reverse calculation. So I'm going to start with, this is my check. Let's just tell the person marking it, 34.60, and the opposite of divide by 3 is multiply by 3. So we should get, if we've done this right, we should get the original amount that they said. 0 for that. 18, carry the 1. 4 times 3 is 12, plus the 1 is 13. 3 times 3 is 9, plus the 1 is 10. Yeah, so you get the original amount that they mentioned. Yep, 3 marks for that. Let's move on to the next one. Calculator extension question 3. So we can use a calculator for this one. Oh, okay. Let me get my calculator. Daniel has these test results. His tutor wants to compare these results. List the subjects in order from his best results to his worst results. Show why you think this. 3 marks. So we've got a combination of mainly fractions. We've got percentages as well. We have done percentages before. If you're not sure, do have a look at my video on percentages. Well, percentage is just a fancy fraction, you know, out of 100. So in fact, let me rewrite all these. I want all these to look very similar. So public services is 46%. Let's just write this down like this. Maths, 14 out of 25. English, 13 out of 20. And art and design is 6 out of 10. Okay. Let's make these all the same. So I would. You could change them all to percentages, or change them all to fractions with the same denominator. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to change them all to percentages. So you don't even need your calculator for this. So I'm going to change 14 out of 25 instead of out of 25, change it to out of 100. No, in fact, you know what? Because we've got a calculator, let me do the quick way. Any fraction, just times by 100, you get your percentage. So 14 divided by 25 times by 100. I'm just being lazy here. 56%. Times that by 100. You get 65%. Times that by 100. I know that's going to be 60%. I don't need to use my calculator for that one. You know, so now they're all in percentages. What was it asking? List the subjects in order from his best result to his worst. Well, best one is English. Where do I put my answer? Oh, here we go. So English, then art and design, then maths. Well, he's not very good at maths, is he? And then public services, which is really bad. Yeah, from best to worst, there's your answer. And yeah, don't forget you have to list the subjects, not the fractions or percentages or whatever you change them to. You could have changed them all to decimals, maybe. Makes no difference, to be honest. If you've got your calculator, you can change them to anything. You know, as long as you can compare. Let's move on. Another calculator one. Cruz is the editor of a magazine. Magazine has 40 pages. Magazine must have 20% of the pages for adverts, quarter of the pages for photos, the remaining pages for articles. Work out the number of pages for articles, right? So again, let's put adverts. So that's 20%. Photos, a quarter. And the articles are the remaining pages, or the rest. Let's put the rest for that for now. So 20% for adverts, okay. Photos is a quarter, which is the same as 25%. So far we've got 25 plus 20, 45%. So the rest must be 100 minus that, which is 55%. So if I can work out 55% of 40, this is one way of doing it, by the way. You don't necessarily have to do it this way. But if I do 55% of, how many pages? 40 pages in total. Let's work that on the calculator, because I've got my calculator for this one. I get 22 for my answer. Yep, that's one way of doing it. I could have worked out, you know what? I could have worked out how many pages I need for adverts, how many I need for photos, and then take it away from 40. That would have left me with how many articles, how many pages for articles that would have been. There's so many ways of doing these, you know. It's just personal preference, to be honest. You know, me, I don't know. It totally depends on how I'm feeling, what my gut feeling is. You know, I just go with I just go with my gut, to be honest, you know, and just work it out how I'm feeling at the time, to be honest. You know, on another day I would have done it differently. You know, I still would have got the same answer. So yeah, makes no difference as long as your answer is correct. Well, let's move on. Another non-calculator one in this case. Charity wants to collect £84,000. Charity worker says we've collected 3/4 of £84,000. How much money has the charity collected? So we need 3/4 of, we need to write this in numbers. It's 84,000. Yeah, just by writing 84,000 you should get just 1 mark already. You know, even if you don't know how to do this question. So we need to divide by the bottom, multiply by the top. Let's do 84,000 divided by 4. Remember, this is non-calculator. That's £21,000. And then, so this is a quarter. So 3/4 will be 3 times that. Yep, which is £63,000. Let's put that in the answer box. Yep, 3 marks for that. It's a really good one. Oh, and that's it. That was the last one. Yeah, so hopefully you found that useful, and if you did, please press the like button, and you know, do press the subscribe button as well if you haven't subscribed already. You know, your support is greatly appreciated, and you know, I wouldn't be doing these videos without your support, and the feedback that you guys give me, you know, is really great. So yeah, I'll keep doing these, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one.